House followers. Today we're going to be doing a cute little yarn wall hanging decor piece. So a few things that you're going to need. I have two brass medals here. So this larger one is going to be that 14-inch, and then this smaller one inside is going to be the 8-inch. Along with, I have some wood beads here. And they're going to have that large hole so I can fit into the yarn. And then I have 3 color yarns here. I am using Vanna Choice, and I have the color Sage, Shadow, and a Linen. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we're going to go ahead and attach this to the top. So I do like to find the spot where it has the 2 little weld points for the brass hoops. And then I am going to use the Sage color to go ahead and connect these. I'm going to use about 24 inches. And first things first is I'm going to go ahead and just string on 18, I think, of these wood beads. I'm going to want a little bigger loop, so it all comes down to how big you want your loop to be for the hanging section. I'll show you guys what 10 of these will look like if you were wanting a smaller one. I believe that's 10. So that would be a very, very small little loop if you want to do a smaller loop. But again, I'm going to do about 18. So I need 8 more of these. Again, that's just a preference. I want a bigger hanger, so I'm going to go ahead and push these so they're a little bit more centered. I'm going to have a nice little loop here. To make sure this is nice and tight, I am just going to tie a double knot. So 1 and 2. Now from here, I'm just going to take one side. So I'm going to go ahead and do my left side first. And I am just going to wrap on the left side of this. We'll say about 6 times. And then you'll start wrapping right back to the center point. So when you're doing this, you want to make sure it is, you're pulling and having good tension. You're keeping your, every time you go around, your strings nicely up against each other. Once you get back to that little center, you want to make sure you're wrapping a few times on the other side of that knot where your beaded hanger comes down. So now I got 2 wraps around on the other side of that knot. So I'm going to go ahead and take my right side now. And I like to go opposite with my string. So if I started this one going forward, I want to go backwards with the next one. So, and again, I just kind of roughly estimate. You can actually count, but I cannot count and talk at the same time. So I just roughly wrap around about 6 times, and then you want to wrap it back. Again, I'm keeping really good tension on this when I'm doing it. And coming backwards with that wrap is just, again, going to secure the knot and the strength between these 2 brass hoops getting connected. Oops. Okay, I'm almost there. Almost to the center, and then I just want to make sure, again, I'm getting wrapped on this opposite side of that knot. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to flip it. I want you guys to see how I have one of the strings going under and one going to the top side of my brass ring. From here, I like to go ahead and just tie, again, a double knot. I try to put it right where the one for my bead handle is, or loop, so they kind of blend into each other. And then another trick is you can go ahead and just push that excess yarn right through these large hole beads. You can go up further than one bead if needed. You could also double loop this. So I could have the string come all the way back through all these beads and then tie it at the end. But I'm just gonna have it go like that through that first bead, and then I'm gonna snip and snip. So I'll keep those ends nicely tucked in there and I won't see them coming out. Another thing I like to do with that knot is just take a little GS hypo on it and really make sure the knot gets secured so it won't be moving on me. And then close it on up. The best thing about this GS hypo is, again, it dries clear. It has a nice little needle to get tucked in there. And then you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so I'm gonna flip that back over. And then we're gonna go ahead and start adding the rest of our yarn on here. So I am gonna do a little something in this small one, so we're gonna start with that first. I'm gonna bring in this nice, so this was, I think I misspoke earlier. So I use that shadow color here, and then I'm coming in with that sage. And I cut the strings that we're going to be using for the rest of this about 4 feet. So you're going to fold it in half so you have, it's 2 and 2. And again, it's all going to depend on the length you want. So you may want a longer strand yarn if you want it to have a little bit more dangle. This is just what I kind of preferred. So, okay. So again, these are 4 feet roughly, and then they're folded in half. And when they're folded in half, you have this nice little loop. You're just gonna go over your brass, your small brass hoop, and then you're gonna pull those 2 strings right through. Okay, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat that 10 times. Okay, I got all 10 of those on there. I think I am going to go ahead and do 12. I think it needs a little bit more. So I got 2 more strands here, and I'm just going to tuck those on the same way. And then we're going to go ahead and add some more color on the other side. So I am going to go ahead and do linen on the other side. And we're going to do 12 strands as well. And it's going to be put on the exact same way that we're doing it over here. So they will be identical. And we're just getting that first initial knot down. So again, folding those 4-foot strands of yarn, taking that loop over, and then you're pulling the 2 strands through. And again, we're putting the linen on. So we're gonna end up doing a little crisscross pattern at the top, and then we'll end up bringing that shadow color in near the end. I got these a little uneven, so make sure you are, again, folding these even. And I'm going to put 12 of these on. Okay, now that we have all 12, we're going to start the next step. So what I want to do is I am going to go ahead and I'm going to split these out by 3s. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm just going to flip anything that I'm not currently using out of the way. So I'm going to start with the sage color in the 3 strands. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to go under with both strings, and I'm just going to make again that shoelace style tie and pull it on down. Since I am going to go to the next level with this, I am not going to go ahead and do another knot. It'll be nice and secure in the end. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Nice little shoelace tie. Okay, and then 3. And then I'm going to go with the other color so that we're making a little cross pattern here. So go over, pull the strings under, and then I just make a loop on top and pull. Okay, and you're just going to repeat that with the next 2 strands here. Or 2 strand groupings. I guess our grouping of strands. 2 strand groupings. Okay. Again, we're just going to get those nice and snug and together. And then we're going to grab that next 3. So I'm going to start with that blue. Going to pull it up nice and tight. And then pull the strings under and make a knot. Next 2 strings. Under and make a knot. under and make a knot. And then you're going to do the same with the linen. Next group of 3. Under and make a knot. You want to make sure that you're tying your knot the same way every time too, so you're not getting like the knot on the top side, knot on the bottom, and switching it every time. Just keep it nice and consistent. And then you're just going to go ahead and repeat that until you are completely finished with your groups of 3. Okay, so now I have all those tied down below. We're going to go ahead and add in that shadow color. So again, I cut 4 feet, folded it in half in 2, so you should have 2 and 2. And I'm going to attach it to that lower part of that 8-inch ring. And then you're just going to take that loop and then pull the strings on through. And I have 12 strands of yarn, and we're just going to repeat that. So the folded loop at the end, up and over, and pull. Fold your string in half, put the loop over, and then you're going to pull it under, and then you're going to pull your strings through until it's nice and snug. Okay, now that I have it all attached in the bottom and it's going straight down, I'm going to go ahead and attach those other colors. So I'm going to start out with this linen, and I'm going to double knot it. And 2. And I'm just going to keep going, making sure I'm pushing it right up against there and go on out. And then I'll start with this one and I'll tie that and go on out. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and tie off this other side. Same knots. Just makes it easier to keep the knots the same the whole time. It makes so you have a pattern that is the same on the along the brass here. Okay, so I'm going to pull that nice and snug and then just push it on in. So again, pulling it nice and snug. Sometimes I do have to kind of spread them, the yarn, to pull it nice and tight. Okay, now we are done fully tying that off, and I am just going to go ahead and flip this around on the camera for you. It's got some good length on it, but we're going to go ahead, I'm going to brush these so they're all even and laying as flat as I can get them. Okay, then all you have to do is make a slight angle cut. Okay, getting those nice and even, and then I'm gonna cut just a few more on this side. And then we're gonna angle up on the other. All right. And there you have it.